Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mackenzie Lambert, your host for Mack and the Movies. This installment selection is a favorite of many. We will look at one of horror's finest of the 1980s. It is probably the most recognized film in both the career of the director and the lead actor. Today we are checking out Stuart Gordon's Re-Animator, starring Jeffrey Combs. Dan Kane is a medical student at Miskatonic University. He is seeking a flatmate and ends up taking in the recently arrived Herbert West, fresh from a recent scandal in Switzerland. West ends up turning the basement into a makeshift laboratory. In this lab, West and Kane resurrect a dead cat using West's reagent. This scares Dean's girlfriend, Megan, as well as having them being kicked off campus by the college dean, Dr. Halsey. In an attempt to redeem themselves, West and Kane sneak into the morgue and use the reagent on a cadaver. West ends up injecting too much into the corpse, and the resurrected corpse goes on a rampage. The corpse ends up killing Dr. Halsey. After disposing of the corpse, the reagent is used on Halsey to cover the fact that he's dead. In the aftermath, Dr. Hill takes over in observing Dr. Halsey. Dr. Hill, a reputed plagiarist, has his eyes on Wes's reagent to forward himself as a medical genius. In addition to the reagent, Hill has his eyes on Megan for his own carnal desires. Hill goes to West to steal his reagent, but is killed by West via decapitation. Never missing an opportunity to experiment, West injects the reagent into both the head and body of Dr. Hill. Unexpectedly, both parts of Dr. Hill come back and steal the formula from West. Using the reagent, Hill creates his own army of zombies. Hill also abducts Megan for his own needs. It is up to West and Kane to stop Hill from taking over the world. H.P. Lovecraft and his works have been brought to film on a number of occasions. One could argue that 1934's Dwayne Esper-directed Sex Maniac was the first adaptation of a Lovecraft work due to plot elements that resemble Re-Animator. Officially, 1963's The Haunted Palace with Vincent Price was based more on Lovecraft's Case of Charles Dexter Ward, despite the film being named after an Edgar Allan Poe poem. Originally, Gordon wanted to adapt Re-Animator for a stage production. After consulting with writers Dennis Powley and William Norris, they took the approach of a TV miniseries. Gordon was introduced to producer Brian Yunza after meeting with special effects technician Bob Greenberg, who suggested to Gordon the best chance for his horror project was in a feature film. After Gordon met with Yunza, Re-Animator was set in production with a distribution deal from Charles Band's Empire Pictures. After early film appearances in drama and comedies, Jeffrey Combs made his horror debut in Frightmare, followed up by the Steve Martin classic, The Man with Two Brains. Combs would audition for Herbert West, and he would become synonymous with the character, reprising the role for two follow-up films. From there, Combs would become a staple in genre franchises. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The New Adventures of Batman, Justice League Unlimited, Dr. Mordred, and The Frighteners are among some of his noted credits. Despite Combs being the most recognized of the cast, this is actually more of an ensemble film. Bruce Abbott, Barbara Crampton, David Gale, and Robert Sampson fill out the cast. Crampton would be associated with this film due to an unforgettable moment that is the basis of a pun.
What can we do to bring this film to a head? Oh!
This has gone on to be one of the most notorious scenes in horror film, and cementing Re-Animator as a horror comedy that wasn't afraid to go where other horror movies wouldn't. While on the topic of notorious, the music score for Re-Animator by Richard Band is fitting of the mischievous nature of the film. It is also the subject of much controversy for Bernard Herrmann fans, who would accuse it of blatantly ripping off the music from Psycho. Here's a snippet of Re-Animator. And now here's a snippet of the music for Psycho. Band's composition was not an accident. Band himself admitted that Psycho was a big influence. Band even wanted to have the credits reflect his inspiration from Psycho.
I had insisted on the end titles to credit Bernard Herrmann, you know, for the intentional borrowing of the motifs and themes. And I mean, you might remember this. I forgot the wording, but it was something like my deepest thanks and regrets and sympathies to Bernard Herrmann for the use of his themes or whatever. It was something of the sort, but it was always my intent to do that. And but you know, filmmaking, somebody left it out of the end title credits, and that only furthered the controversy. And of course, this was not a big budget movie, so when I saw that, I said, we got to reshoot the credits. It's got to be in. I did feel very strongly about it, and I was given the option to pay for it. I didn't have the money to pay several $1,000s for them to reshoot the end credits.
I know this review comes off as a love fest for Re-Animator, but it's warranted. Re-Animator is an excellent piece of horror film and reflective of the 80s horror comedies. Alongside Re-Animator, you had American Werewolf in London, Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Creeps, Evil Dead 2. Noted horror comedies. Re-Animator is a true classic with little to no fat and almost no drag in the momentum. And that finishes this review for Re-Animator for Mack and the Movies. Is Herbert West your favorite Jeffrey Combs performance? If not, share which one in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already. I'm Mackenzie Lambert. Until next time, take care.
His Dog, rated R. Q. Jeff.